Ukraine has stopped issuing new passports to some military-aged men living abroad. It's part of a bid to pressure them to return home to fight. The move is temporary and comes the day after the Ukrainian Foreign Ministry suspended consular services for men from 18 to 60 years old. Long queues formed at passport offices in European countries after Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba announced the measures. The limits come shortly after Ukraine adopted a new, stricter mobilization policy to shore up forces amid gains by Russia on the battlefield. Well, for more on this, let's bring in our correspondent Karolina Chimoy in Kyiv. Karolina, what does this stricter mobilization policy mean for Ukrainian men living abroad?
This is especially tragic, Terry, for men between 18 and 60 years old who are living abroad and want to renew their passports. And there are hundreds of these men, for example, in Poland, who have been already queuing up in front of the consulates trying to renew their passports. They cannot do any kind of paperwork at Ukrainian consulates, but only the process to come back home. And this has been highly criticized here in Kyiv, also by members of the parliament, saying that this had not been discussed during the whole progress and procedure of the mobilization law. Some members of parliament and members of the Committee of National Security even want to call in members of the Minister of Foreign Affairs to ask them to explain this issue, because this had apparently not been discussed, and it seems to be a gray zone that might not even be legal.
What does this mobilization say about how the war is going for Ukraine, Karolina?
Terry, you already mentioned it. Ukraine needs manpower. They need more men on the front lines. It's not only weapons, it's also about soldiers. The chief of the army said that they need at least 250,000 more soldiers at the front lines. And also we know that Russian troops outnumber Ukrainian troops by up to 10 times. This means that every Ukrainian soldier, there are at least 10 Russian soldiers. So this already shows that Russia has a significant advantage on this field.
Karolina, thank you very much. That was our correspondent Karolina Chimoy in Kyiv. Well, U.S. President Joe Biden has signed a bill into law authorizing billions of dollars in military aid for Ukraine. A day earlier, lawmakers gave the final green light to the $61 billion package, ending a months-long standoff in Congress. Biden says supplies will soon be on their way.
I'm making sure the shipments start right away. In the next few hours, literally in a few hours, we're going to begin sending in equipment to Ukraine for air defense munitions, for artillery, for rocket systems, and armored vehicles. You know, this package is literally an investment, not only in Ukraine's security, but in Europe's security, in our own security.
While the first official shipment of aid is set to arrive in the next hours and days, U.S. officials have confirmed that Ukraine has begun using long-range missiles secretly shipped in recent weeks as part of a previous aid package. They say the missiles were used for the first time in a strike on a Russian airfield in Crimea last week. The Army tactical missile systems were part of a $300 million assistance package approved by the United States in March. The U.S. supplied mid-range versions of the system last September. This latest batch can strike targets up to 300 kilometers away.